Hello, hi.
Live.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay. We'll call the meeting to order. Is there any public comments? For anyone on there?
Nope.
Okay, we'll move to approval of the minutes.
I make a motion to approve.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. The first item of business. Server information. That was Kramer here.
We are definitely in need of replacement. We've talked about Paul and I. It's been many years since we've done anything with the server, and it's actually lasted pretty darn good. It's a server I built back in 2007. And then I've added a couple things and upgraded it, at different times, adding memory and stuff. But it's lasted pretty long, but it's time. BSNA is a huge hog, which is our application server. And I'm trying to plan for the future for this. It's hard to decide what we're going to use in the future. But with the way things have gone in the last 10 years, if we don't plan for it now, we're going to end up spending, yes. Okay. So I'm not going with anything that is a low end server. Okay. Because of that, we can save a little bit of money if we want to, but this is the way that I would go. Okay, between the three options that we got, either ordering from HP or ordering from Dell, or if I build a server, which is what I did before. So you can see what I did, back in 2007 when I built this server. So what I build will last.
I'm familiar with HP and Bell, but what's
Michigan Network Consultants.
okay.
That's
so it's
buying
different.
parts and putting something together,
Okay.
which is what I did before.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
Just using off the internet parts,
Okay,
okay, to do that. And we can go either route. But I would recommend, doing that. That's what we've done before. It's served us well.
so you haven't had
Okay.
any problem with one night? As far as
No, I
what you-
mean, I think we've been doing fine, but right now, I mean, we're adding some stuff on for the cemetery and we haven't been able to update RoadSoft.
That's right.
And we had some issues when we added our new copier and, every year we kind of put a little bit of money away or whatever towards, we know that we should be doing something to our server, but I mean, we haven't had to put money in it in a long,
No, it's been a long time.
I mean, I think the last time we had a big deal was when we had the lightning strike.
But that wasn't a problem with the server.
No, but I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the last
That's
time
right.
that we did anything like major,
That's right.
was when we had that lightning strike.
So do we have the same protocol that we do with a car where we kind of set money aside and kind of for computers? I mean, has this been in the budget? I guess that we've been.
We are setting money aside every year.
Okay.
And recently, like last year, we started moving all that money to capital outlay. And so there's some money in there, but I mean, there's money. We do have money in fund balance to cover it because we have not done anything to it and have put money away every year. So,
Well, I know if you're working with something that started in 2007 and you've been doing stuff like that, at some point you gotta.
Well, 2013 was the last time we really did some modifications, and the operating system is old and archaic, and there's things that will not run on it. We have an application that will not run with assessing with the MSR MSRRP or
Something
whatever
like that.
that is, that the state changed like 3 or 4 years ago. I had to actually put in on a VM, okay, virtual machine for it to get it to run, because it wouldn't run on our server. We now have a problem with RoadSoft, which is what controls all of, that it won't run on the server at all, because it's too old. And it's the operating system that's a big problem, but you can't put the new, you can't put the new operating system on this hardware. Plus, the hardware is done as well, but it's getting old. It's getting old. It's no different than a police car or anything else. We've done very well at keeping this running, in my opinion. So it's time to do the hardware.
So I'm guessing we're looking for a recommendation to either pick one of these options or pick no option. I mean, guess I feel like that if we can save $4,000 and he's gonna build it.
Plus building it, you get what you want instead of.
That's right. I mean, that's what I've, like I said, that's what I've done here before, and it's worked out pretty well for us.
And you think that's a good choice too?
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Someone come get an egg.
Yeah. I guess I'm looking for a motion.
I make a motion that we do the MNC server.
Second that.
Run with that.
So we're gonna make the recommendation to city council. Is that how we were gonna do it? At this next, when we talk.
Yeah, when
mention it?
when we do the finance report, you would just tell them that the finance committee recommended.
This way.
Yeah, and then we would just have to vote on it as a council in order to approve it.
Okay,
What were you thinking in terms of when we would start? the
I didn't know,
process?
because I didn't know if this was for budgeting purposes, whether this was gonna be in the next budget year.
right,
Right,
Okay, so realistically, I mean, I have a month, to get parts. And then so we're probably a month and a half out before I could look at installing.
I mean, I was just double checking, but I'm pretty sure I included it in the new budget. So, I mean, it's not like we couldn't make an amendment if you get it, get to a point where you're gonna have to bill us this year for it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think whatever you guys decide, if you want to wait until the new year and Ron has time to get everything together, get it scheduled, all that, that's fine. But, will it put us like out of work for very long?
No, I'll figure it out. We'll do it either over a holiday weekend or something. I don't really want to work holiday weekends. What did I say that? I'll figure it out. So I'll figure it out. I mean, there's.
We can work around,
Well,
we can't, it's hard to work around payroll.
Correct,
I mean,
correct.
so, and like, it's getting close to our year end and
I
the
mean,
budget, but, so
yeah.
there is probably time periods in there where we could go, hey,
it would make sense to do it in the next budget, that way you can tie things up and then. I mean, we're not looking that much,
No,
by the time you get your stuff, how quick could you really do it?
well,
It'd
it's.
probably be like June.
Okay, I have to look at a calendar to see. I wasn't really prepared to
Yeah,
look
we
at-
have the same amount of
So-
money either way.
Yeah,
I mean, the
right.
money's kind of sitting there already to
Okay.
pay for it. It's just not, we would just make a budget amendment if he gets to it this year.
Right, so
And then-
I would just go forward. I mean, if the council approves.
I mean, like I said, if there's a Monday, for example, that you're closed, I haven't looked at the holiday calendar to see. But if there's a Monday that you're closed, it's not 4th of July or something like that. Okay, then that's why I'm saying
Yeah, the
that.
only thing.
I'm not
we
doing
really-
4th of July weekend. I have a big party. I'm
Yeah.
responsible for fireworks. That
The
sort of
only thing
but-
we have closed right now between now and then would be Memorial Day.
Yeah, and
Monday.
Memorial Day, I'll be busy.
Yeah. So what, I mean, whatever. works,
So we'll figure it out. I mean, like, is there,
We could take a Friday off.
is there a President's Day coming up?
No, that's
in
on-
February.
Let's see if the girls wouldn't mind.
I'm pretty-
a day off
So-
For you.
We'll figure it out.
We got Juneteenth.
There you
Oh,
go.
well, there's an idea.
I'm taking that off. Sorry.
That'd be a good thought, but I think you just go forward and then once you get that, and then find out,
Yes.
and you work with them. And so it's not on a payroll or it's not
Exactly.
trying to wrap
I'll
up
work
the year. or
whatever.
whatever.
Whatever
Yeah,
works
when
with
it
them.
comes to that part, I think it's just between you guys.
And I did get it, it's in next year's budget, but there's, if whatever happens and you can do it now, fine. I mean, we definitely don't wanna have a failure.
Right.
Which, I mean, I don't know that we're in a risk of that, but
No,
I
That's
feel
pretty
like,
old.
yeah. But I feel like if you are able to get started and you need money just to get it ordered, then we budgeted it for next year, I can bump it.
okay. I will, get rolling on that then, and after you run through council. And, we'll figure out a time to do the install, but whatever, I'll work around whatever, you know. Weekend, what have you, I just need in, so.
But you just think in a couple days, is that what you're thinking, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big a deal, I mean, it's not, it's honestly not.
Most
that
of the
big.
work is gonna be in
Yeah.
your own time.
That's right. I mean, I've got 10-12 hours of building it together and then testing it. And then roughly you're looking at 2.5 hours per machine. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 machines. So you got 2 days. Okay. And then after that, I mean, usually I would come in and if I do it over a weekend, for example, and I do it on Friday, then I would be here Monday, because there's gonna be hiccups.
There always is something.
People are like, okay, well, a lot of people, it's like, not that the users here are that way, but if I move something on their desktop from this way, then they can't get, they don't know what to do. So there's things like that. Well, printers are renamed, and stuff, so.
We just gotta make sure the speakers work, right?
Yes.
All right, so we'll reach out to you after.
Okay.
After the council, but-
Okay.
We have any other questions for you?
I'm,
Thanks for coming.
no problem. So. I get to
You guys
go.
were way easier on him than you would have been me. If I said that, I would have, you guys would have had 100 questions I couldn't answer.
Yep.
The problem is
No.
if he
Well-
answers them, I still don't know if I would
So,
understand.
well, and here's the thing, I mean, to be honest with you,
Clients will come because there's no way I can answer their question.
I absolutely hate sitting in front of city council or whatever. When I was in school, I always took failures in school instead of standing up and speaking in front of the class. But guess what? I know all of them. But it's all right, I know all of you.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
all right. I'm related to her.
oh, I'm sorry.
Everybody's related to her, I think.
You just gave a positive and a negative at the same time.
All right, well, I'm gonna use the restroom before I go,
Yeah,
but
thank you. So. Part of the finance is to sign these bills. And they give us this packet. I just want to kind of, maybe it might be helpful for me. If we kind of just went down a normal thing and kind of like, I can tell like, Frank, that's probably that down there that, but if you wouldn't mind and kind of go down what these things are for, I guess. And that way I think I'll get in the routine where I understand most of it, but it takes a minute for me to know. Obviously, I can pull those receipts out as well, but there's some. Obviously, I know what consumers' energy is. I know like there's Baker and Taylor and that's books for the library, but if you could just kind of maybe spend 2 or 3 minutes going down this.
So do you guys have the list?
No.
So you know,
Not on me.
But,
it's in the count, okay,
Oh.
so,
oh, is it our council packet, is it?
yeah,
It
but
is.
so the top one is Shiawassee County, so like there's a tax disbursement in here. And so the Shiawassee County is the tax disbursement, the LSW Emergency Services for 94,000, that's a big one. As part of, so that's money we collected for taxes
Okay,
that we have to pay back out, so.
okay. So you
all the-
collected it from the taxpayers and then you pay it back out.
Yeah,
Okay.
and we do that every 2 weeks during tax season, so you'll
Okay.
see those, and sometimes they're big numbers, but so you got the
Yes.
road commission, that's one of those on here. And then this emergency services, and then the county treasurer, $520, I think that's the dog licenses, so it's all part of our end of our tax year. Granger, obviously, everybody knows what that is, Baker, Taylor. So we paid Greg Hunt, Linda Culpepper, and Melissa. I say her
And it
name.
was the board of review.
Yeah,
that
so
showed
that's,
it.
yep, so we pay them once a year. We just pay, they meet in March, December, July, and we just pay them all in March. So that's how we handle that. So Ponum Software, that's the money you guys approved last month for the cemetery.
That's cemetery.
Yep, and then Kim Carter, that $1,172, that is for our grant admin.
Okay.
And so we pay her, but we get reimbursed by the state.
Okay.
So that
Is
is,
that for which grant is that?
that
for?
is for the rental rehab one that we're working on right
Yeah.
now. So that, she's Carter Consulting or Kim Carter. Sometimes she works for a different company, but right now, that's the only CGA we've ever paid. High Point, that is our bond payment for previous road works. that we
And
did.
that's the one that's coming another year or something and it's.
Yep, yep. We have one that ends in 24 and one in 26 or 27, I think, something like that.
Good day.
Mark Brink Construction is again part of the rental rehab. So we're paying him and then we get reimbursed by the state of Michigan. And Rich Hafner, because he has a match. Alltech. I would have to look to see what was
Probably one of
done,
the
but
truck-
one of the vehicles must have went out to Alltech. C2AE, their bills are split up, but I did take a look at those and I think it was for the engineering services to do the bidding, to get all the documents
For
ready.
the road?
Yep, and collect all the bids. It was for the generators. There might have been a little bit of grant assistance in there to
Okay.
get the grant we just turned in the river one.
River, okay.
Yep, and I think that's all that was in there. That's what I think. Duty well drilling, Dave had something done over at the
Ladder.
park. Yep. So, Haviland, I think that one I would have to double check, but I think it's the ferric acid or whatever that stuff is that Dave has to put in the lagoon.
Oh, no, we won't.
Yep, we just ordered a bunch of those chemicals, so that's what that is.
Didn't we say we weren't gonna put as much chemicals in it?
That's different.
Different, okay.
These are the ones that we're required to treat the lagoon with in order to pass the testing for the DEQ, so we keep our permit.
Okay.
JNS Tooling, he had something fixed on one of the mowers, I think. Michigan Company, that is, all of our custodial supplies and stuff like that.
Okay.
Sage Market, they went out there and got some bottled water that he keeps out in the DPW. State of Michigan, I think that was something for the police. Some ticket thing that the state makes us pay for, like every quarter or something like that. I don't
And
know.
those are all things that you wrote checks for, and then behind there is the documentation or whatever those.
Right.
That's attached.
American Rentals is the porta potty for the cemetery. Sedum, $10,000. Everybody agreed to pay that
Oh, that person.
for for the fellow. Then down below here, these are the tax
Yeah.
checks.
Okay. Okay.
And then we also have,
And these are also these are probably maybe debit type.
but we have things that we have set up and approved the vendors that we can pay ACH.
So there's not a check, but they go automatic.
Right, so like we pay McLaren for the health services, ACH, and you're gonna see most of these every month. The standard is the life insurance, Consumers Energy, Daystar, those are Verizon, those are all self-explanatory. Wex Bank is the credit card bill, which you would have to look behind there to see, I mean, if you wanna know
Right.
what we charged on our credit card, they're all the receipts are in here.
Okay.
Point and pay is what we pay to be able to have that credit card option for people to pay online.
For sewer.
Yep, the sewer taxes, whatever, we can accept a credit cemetery, whatever, we can accept that, but we pay a small fee every month and then that makes it so that it all integrates with BSNA. Xerox, our new copy machine. First Bank, those are credit cards. Sorry, Wex Bank is just the fuel. And Yeah, so we have fuel cards that we go down and fill up at the gas station down there. That's the Wex card.
Okay.
And then the flex payout, our employees all like, some of them put in, and so basically. That's that company, because we don't see any of their receipts, so if they've turned in a medical receipt
Mhm.
for HIPAA reasons, we don't see any of that stuff, so it goes to a third party. They process it, they take it out of our account, and then this is like.
Yeah, you get it, get counts.
It's just a shifting of funds, so.
Okay, thank you. I'm getting a little bit more comfortable with it takes a minute to catch up with all, I mean, there's a lot going on. For sure. All right,
That rubber band is too big for that, it just keeps popping up.
all right. I guess, is there anything else that you'd like to?
I just didn't know if you guys wanted to go over anything on the council agenda for more information or anything you want to know.
Um.
I think, I mean, because we're gonna go over it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I have any specific questions.
Budget, nothing, okay.
So I guess I'm just gonna ask, so if I'm looking at this, then the budget, if you go to. We have a couple minutes here. So our total budget would be on my, page 36. That would be the total budget that.
For the entire
2000.
city,
Yes,
yeah, it should be on the last page.
and then. Those numbers don't equal by $500, but there's something in here that.
What does it equal? Wonder if an older one, maybe I got one
It's
that
two.
mine equals,
You see, I got it in blue.
oh,
It's $500.
oh, that one is probably just the general fund. So basically there was, something probably that I put in there that at the end, that was 500, I must have had to switch something around.
Okay,
And so the revenues and the expenses are $500 off, but I wonder. I'm gonna check to see if it's the same one I have in my books. Oh, no, see, I printed a new one on 3/23,
okay.
so,
So is it $721?
so that's just the general fund.
Yeah, okay, that's just the general fund.
What was your number? Yeah. Oh, mine does have the 500 off on that one. I think it was, I would have to go back and figure out.
It's not a big deal, but I just noticed it.
Yeah, that, and in some cases, I do that on purpose, like, so, say. We have so much revenue coming in, say we collect 200,000 from sewer fees and our total revenue coming into the sewer is 200,000.
Mhm.
And our normal expenses are 200,000, but we're gonna buy a $150,000 piece of equipment. You might see a negative 150 there
Okay,
because it's coming out of the fund balance.
so for instance, this, where it says transfer to CIP fund.
Yep, so that's the capital improvement fund,
Okay.
like how you just asked me about
The
the
top.
server and the
Right,
police car
right,
and stuff.
right.
So what I'm doing is I'm budgeting in general fund
Mhm.
to move that money to the CIP fund.
Okay,
So we'll have a savings account
Yep.
there, sort of,
Yep.
that will cover those expenses.
those big expenses.
So that, when you see that, you should also be able to trace it to the CIP,
Okay,
showing it coming in there.
right,
And we may not necessarily spend that money in that year in the CIP, but we're moving it there.
Right.
Like a savings account.
like we're saving for it in essence, we're just putting it. in.
Right, and I'm trying to make that like, instead of all of it just sitting in the general fund,
Right.
trying to make it transparent in the CIP fund that we're moving funds from general fund or from wherever, into the CIP fund.
All right, unless there's something else. And then what, to make a motion?
Make a motion for what? No.
To adjourn.
6:26.